This week on Goalissimo, it's the big one from the Bundesliga as Bremen battle Bayern. The top two go head-to-head in Portugal as Sporting face bitter rivals Porto. And there's the best of the rest from around the football globe. In the German Bundesliga, Schalke continued to look a real threat in the fledgling title race. Zlatan Basramovic gave them the lead against Hanover with a superb individual effort. They doubled that advantage with another quality strike. This time it was Levan Kobishvili applying the finish to some inventive build-up. Hanover made a game of it in the second half with a wonderful strike from Jan Rosenthal, but the hosts held on for the victory. At long last, Hamburg have got a win, but early on the gods appeared to be against them once more as Boubacar Sanogo made his entry for miss of the season. And the visitors were made to pay when Leverkusen took the lead before half-time. Sasha Kirstein and Timotei Atuba collided, allowing Andrei Voronin the chance to slide home the opener. After that all-too-familiar bout of bad luck, Thomas Dohl's side showed great resilience in the second half and will level through substitute Jose Guerrero. And the Peruvian was on hand to win the match from an almost identical position just 4 minutes from time. No doubt where the biggest match in the Bundesliga was, though. The Stadium staged the battle of the top two as Werder Bremen faced Bayern Munich.
Van Bommel goes down, he's told to get to his feet. Bremen play on and Torsten Frings with a nice ball into Diego, lovely turn! And Diego has scored the opening goal! What a start for Bremen! And the Brazilian keeps up his fine run of form in front of goal. Here's Diego again. Great turn and so skillful on the edge of the box. And it's Frings, always an outlet, and down he goes. Under Schweinsteiger's challenge, the frustration starting to show. It's laid off for Wome! What an absolute beauty from Pierre Wome! And they've doubled their lead. Ball knocked up towards Pizarro, got the header down, and it's Roy Mackay, and Bayern have pulled one back. Roy Mackay does what he gets paid to do, and puts Bayern back in this clash. Wome now charging up the left-hand side, and the cross has been turned into his own net by Lucio, I think, with the own goal. Can't believe it, and Lucio's face says it all. Disaster for Bayern. Bremen have surely got the points. They lead by 3-1.
Elsewhere in the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund were held at home by bottom side Bochum, and Marco Pantelic netted the winner for Hertha Berlin against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Werder Bremen go top after their triumph over reigning champions Bayern Munich. Schalke are second on goal difference. Hertha Berlin's victory moves them up to third. Despite Bochum's point in Dortmund, they remain bottom after a great start. Hanover is slipping fast, and Hamburg's first win seems to move away from danger.
What are the best bets on this week's football? My guess is the tipster has a few ideas. Kicking off with a look at the German Bundesliga.
The Bundesliga is proving a tough place to bet right now, and it won't get any easier this week as hard-to-beat Eintracht Frankfurt face champions Bayern Munich. Bayern will be desperate to put their defeat at rivals Werder Bremen behind them, and the odds makers fancy them to do it too. They're 4-1 on for a return to winning ways in the league. They also have their front men on fire, with Roy Mackay netting his 4th of the campaign last time out. Frankfurt are the draw specialists this season. In fact, they've drawn an incredible 7 of their 8 matches played and remain unbeaten, so it might be worth backing a level scoreline at 7-4.
In the Dutch Eredivisie, PSV had the chance to overtake AZ in the title chase. They made the perfect start at the Alkmaar Hout. Manuel da Costa heading home from 6 yards. The visitors doubled their advantage on the stroke of half-time when Edison Mendes turned Jefferson Farfan's cross in from the tightest of angles. And if Ronald Koeman liked the first one, he absolutely loved the second. There was still time for a third goal before the break as Aruna Kone lashed an absolute peach into the top corner. Once again, AZ keeper Joseph De Luca was given no chance. Alkmaar regained their composure in the second period, but the luck had deserted them as the former Ajax striker Shota Arveladze pulled his shot the wrong side of the post. The home fans eventually had something to cheer about 20 minutes from time when Denny De Zeo scored, but it was scant consolation for Louis van Gaal's side, who've now lost their previous 3 meetings with Eindhoven. Feyenoord's season lurches from bad to worse. They were ripped apart by a rampant Ajax. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar can't stop scoring at the moment for club or country. He gave the visitors a 12th minute lead at the keep. Ajax's football was a throwback to their glory years, and under Henk ten Kate they look to be serious challengers once again. And with Huntelaar in this sort of form, they'll be hard to stop as he added his second of the afternoon. Feyenoord were in disarray, and a clumsy challenge by Twight Diantali on Huntelaar gave Kenneth Perez the opportunity to make it 3-0 from the spot, which he took. More chaos and confusion in the home defence gifted the league leaders a 4th goal just past the hour. Perez on hand to tap into a gaping net. The vast majority of the crowd were quick to vent their anger at another inept display, and the frustration boiled over on the pitch as Pierre van Hooijdonk saw red for a reckless challenge on Urbi Emanuelson. And Sebastian Pardo soon joined him for an early bath when the Chilean decided to side Gabri in half. It finished 4-0. Ajax are looking the real deal. Elsewhere in Holland, FC Twente put 4 past Excelsior, Roda beat bottom side Sparta, and Alfonso Alves had a hat-trick as Heerenveen won a 6-goal thriller against Groningen. Ajax sit proudly on top of the Eredivisie with a 2-point cushion over nearest rivals PSV. Ajax have lost ground on the leaders. Twente's big win has moved them up to 4th. Sparta stay bottom, but they're still locked on a single point with Den Haag. Vitesse are on the slide. They dropped to 14th after another defeat. In the English Premier League, Paul Scholes scored on his 500th appearance for Manchester United, and Rio Ferdinand volleyed a stunning second to seal a 2-0 victory over fierce rivals Liverpool. Andrei Shevchenko ended his goal drought for Chelsea. Michael Ballack scored his first Premiership goal for the Blues as they beat Portsmouth 2-1. A Thierry Henry double inspired Arsenal to a 4-0 triumph over Reading. Alexander Kleb and Robin van Persie were also amongst the goals as the Gunners won their 5th match in a row. And what now for beleaguered West Ham boss Alan Pardew? His job is on the line after Mido scored the only goal in defeat at Tottenham. Elsewhere in the Premiership, Charlton and Watford drew a blank in their basement battle. Everton east past Sheffield United, and Wigan battered Manchester City by 4-0. Manchester United and Chelsea are still vying for top spot. Bolton are up to 3rd after UC Jääskeläinen saved 2 penalties in the Wanderers' victory at Blackburn. Another defeat for West Ham has seen them slide to 19th. Newcastle's loss at Middlesbrough means that Glenn Roeder's side are also floundering in the bottom 6. In the SPL, second-place Hearts suffered a surprise home defeat to Kilmarnock. The visitors went in front after Stephen Naismith fed the pass for Danny Invincible to far past Craig Gordon. The lead was doubled after some comical defending presented the ball to Gary Wells, whose shot took a wicked deflection to wrong foot the stranded Gordon. Rangers took advantage of the Edinburgh side slip-up to move back into the title race, but they made hard work of it at St Mirren Park, where the hosts took an early lead with John Sutton heading the opener. Rangers, though, back level thanks to this thunderbolt free kick from Charlie Adam. This one every bit as good as his midweek strike in the UEFA Cup. The Gers started to find their old swagger after that. It was Belgian playmaker Thomas Buffel who finished the flowing move to give the visitors the lead. St Mirren were given the opportunity to restore parity late in the second half when referee Callum Murray spotted a push on Mark Corcoran. And Sutton did the honours from 12 yards out to make it 2 apiece. But Rangers weren't to be denied, and Nancho Novo came off the bench to score a dramatic winner after Saints keeper Tony Bullock could only parry Adam's shot, and Novo pounced to steal the points. Even league leaders Celtic were made to huff and puff on a difficult weekend for the title chasers. It needed the wayward boot of Stephen Craigan to divert Maciej Zarowski's shot home for the opener against Motherwell. The visitors should have been on terms shortly after that, but Stephen McGarry headed over from Richie Foran's pinpoint delivery. He knew he should have done better. Artur Baruch was then called into action, with the pole needing to be alert to push away Callum Elliott's shot. You can't afford to pass up too many chances against the champions, and so it proved just past the hour mark as Shunsuke Nakamura chipped a delightful ball into the path of Zarowski, and the magic man did the rest. Motherwell set up a tense finish when Scott McDonald scored in 77 minutes, but by then the Hoops had done enough. Elsewhere in the SPL, Aberdeen cruised to a 3-1 win over Dundee United, and Inverness's John Rankin scored the late winner to edge a 5-goal thriller against Falkirk. Celtic stay top. Hearts' defeat means they stretch their lead at the top to 8 points. It'll be hard to catch Gordon Strachan's side, even at this early stage. Dundee United remain bottom. Dunfermline's heavy home defeat to Hibs leaves them struggling too. Motherwell, though, showing signs of improvements, but they're still down in 10th. As expected, Milan are in command of Group H. Lille are going well at home and in Europe, so the French side will fancy their chances of progress. The group phase of this season's UEFA Cup kicked off with a number of plum ties, one of which pitted the 2005 semi-finalists AZ Alkmaar against high-flying Portuguese outfit Braga.
Tim de Cler offering good width down this left-hand side. That's nicely played. Avaladze with the pass back, and Avaladze nearly got the touch, and Fernandez close to an own goal there. De Cler was a Neat bit of play and interchange. Avaladze involved again, and it's Demi Dazou with the shot. RZ playing some lovely stuff now. This is Chavez. Just sees the gap and finds Maciel, and his shot straight at Di Luca. Best opening Braga have had so far. Jalins will give chase into the corner. Venda goes with him. The Braga man just got the challenge in, but Sioma with the cross! And Avaladze can only find the wrong side of the net. This is Miguel Fernandez. Just about keeps his footing. Can he produce a cross? Marcel will get another bite at this, and Di Luca made a great stop to his right-hand side. De Silva just striding away, chips a nice pass in. This is Martins, and now Dembele, and it'll break loose and it'll fall for Shota Avaladze to score. No more than Alkmaar have deserved. They finally get the lead. Avaladze at the heart of everything good tonight. It's declared with the cross, and oh, Madrid, what was he doing there? Gifting the chance to Dembele, but he couldn't take it. Here come RZ on the break again. The game really stretched now as we head into the closing stages. This is Dembele into the substitute. Koevermans! What an entrance! He's only been on the pitch a matter of minutes, and with his first touch, he's doubled Alkmaar's lead. Lovely football again from RZ. This is Koevermans with the delivery. Delembe couldn't get there, but Steen Schaas could, and that wraps it up. Once again, they carved Braga wide open, and Schaas this time applied the finishing touch. Last few moments, and RZ just happy to keep possession. That is the full-time whistle. Louis van Gaal's side are off and running in Group C. It finishes RZ 3, Braga 0.
Elsewhere in the first round of group matches, Tottenham made a winning start at Besiktas. Holders Sevilla were held by Liberec, and Rangers shot Palermo on their own patch. Newcastle edged a single-goal victory over Fenerbahce, and Blackburn Rovers beat Wisła Krakow. It was the big one in La Liga this weekend, with Real Madrid facing Barcelona. Ruud van Nistelrooy gave Real the perfect start, with Raúl adding a second to peg back their arch-rivals at the top and blow that title race wide open. David Villa scored to keep up Valencia's challenge. It was enough to defeat Osasuna 1-0 at the Mestalla. Sevilla's Freddy Canute scored twice as the UEFA Cup holders held on to beat Gymnastic by 2-1. And Deportivo put themselves right back in the title frame, with Javier Arizmendi scoring the only goal in victory over Atletico Madrid. Elsewhere in La Liga, Zaragoza beat Betis. Another Francesco Baiano goal gave Celta victory in Bilbao, and Villarreal were held at home by Levante. Barca's defeat means they're now level at the top with Valencia. Sevilla, Real Madrid and Deportivo all look like meaningful challenges this term in an intriguing title tussle. Real Sociedad remain bottom and are still without a win this campaign. The other big surprises see Espanyol, Athletic Bilbao and Real Betis all struggling at the wrong end. The African Nations Cup is without doubt the greatest sporting spectacle on the continent. Egypt are the reigning champions. The Pharaohs won a record 5th title when they beat the Ivory Coast early this year in a dramatic penalty shootout. The 2008 finals will be held in Ghana, and the 2-year marathon that is the qualifying campaign is now underway. Each group winner qualifies automatically and will be joined by the top 3 runners-up from the groups made up of 4 teams. first phase kicked off in Group 1, where 2006 runners-up Ivory Coast faced Gabon in their opening match, and they couldn't have asked for a better start, with Arsenal's Kolo Touré striking a thunderous free kick to give the Elephants an early lead. Captain Didier Drogba then fed the pass for Aruna Kone to make it 2. The PSV Eindhoven forward continuing his rich vein of goal-scoring form on the international stage. Drogba was the instigator of the host's next attack, but Aruna Dindan wasted the chance. Gabon boss Alain Giresse looked on in despair as his side struggled to contain their illustrious hosts, and the gap in class was shown to the full when Didier Zakora set Dindan through. This time the lone striker made no mistake. Drogba's strength set up the fourth of the afternoon as Dindan crossed for Kone to blast home his second. Gabon's first opportunity came in the 70th minute. The wayward effort from Eric Maluni summing up their day. Despite the 4-goal cushion, Drogba continued to drive his team forward, and after winning the corner, Tottenham's Zakora delivered for Kone to complete his hat-trick with a perfectly timed near-post header. And that is worth making a song and dance about. The relentless approach of the home side nearly saw a 6th goal, this time only for the woodwork to deny Kone from scoring again. And Drogba should have got the goal his performance deserved, but failed to make the most of Kone's cross. Daniel Kuzan had a late shot blocked as Ivory Coast ran out comfortable winners. Ivory Coast top Group 1 and look odds-on favourites to advance. Gabon's heavy defeat to the Elephants suggests them and Madagascar are merely playing for pride. Lone striker Issam Youmar was the star for Tunisia as he twice came close from free kicks to breaking the Sudan back line. But the Tunisians weren't to be denied, and with time running out, Richard Justin turned Germa's corner past his own keeper to give the home side all 3 points. Tunisia's victory gives them top spot in Group 4, but their failure to beat Minnows Mauritius in round 1 means Sudan and the Seychelles will still fancy their chances. Emmanuel Danilo was on top form as Equatorial Guinea were pegged back for long periods by a determined Cameroon side. He saved the blushes of his teammates here with the first of many fine stops to frustrate the indomitable Lions in the first half. And from that resulting corner, Danilo again showed his reflexes to prevent the opening goal. Cameroon were guilty of spurning several gilt-edged opportunities. Chelsea's Jeremy was denied by the bar. And then Jean Macoun headed straight at Danilo from point-blank range. Only a linesman's flag rescued them to rule out Macoun's goal soon after. Still, the hosts kept the pressure on, and Rigobert Song began the move that ended in Pierre Webo wasting their chance. It was clear to see that Cameroon were missing the injured Samuel Eto'o. Guinea finally offered a riposte in the shape of a weak effort, easily claimed by Idriss Kemeni. The goalless scoreline at the interval was greeted by celebration from the visiting fans, but those cheers were soon evaporating when Macoun centred for Mahamadou Idrissou to break the deadlock. Webo then made up for his earlier miss by scoring the decisive second, much to the relief of the home faithful. And when Jeremy found space on the right to deliver, Cameroon settled the match with Idrissou heading home his second. Not bad for the Hanover striker, who was called up at the last moment. Cameroon have made a great start in Group 5 and will surely make easy work of the road to Ghana. Liberia a best place to join them. Spurred on by 55,000, Algeria started promisingly against Gambia. Zaifi coming close on this occasion. Karim Zayani was at the heart of the Desert Fox's best attacks. He first saw a dangerous free kick beaten away. And then a fabulous volley denied them as well. As the home crowd grew impatient, Zaifi was hauled down in the box to finally give Algeria the chance to open the scoring from the spot. Karim Zayani kept his cool from 12 yards out to win the match. The big guns of Group 8 have made a stuttering start, but Algeria should advance. Better will be expected of Guinea after their shock defeat in Cape Verde. World Cup finalist Togo were brought back down to earth in Mali. Mamadi Sidibe sent out the warning signs with an effort that just shaved the post. In truth, Togo were never in this contest. Drummond Traore still wondering how he missed this sitter from 2 yards out. Mali eventually got their reward deep in stoppage time when Mohamed Sissoko supplied Traore with a chance even he couldn't miss. Group 9 could be the most intriguing of all. Both Mali and Togo are strong candidates to win the tournament as a whole. Expect this one to go all the way. In the French Ligue 1, Monaco's dreadful start to the campaign continued against Toulouse. This wonder strike from Brion Bourgonou did little to help matters. The home side responded though, and Italian striker Marco Di Vaio levelled the match with a cool finish. That was as good as it got for the hosts as they pressed the self-destruct button in the final 5 minutes. First goal Guivet was turned inside out by Johan Almanda before the Swede found the bottom corner. And then more calamitous defending allowed Akil Imana the freedom of the Principality to score the third. Saint-Etienne got off to a flyer against Le Mans when Ilan's shot rebounded fortuitously off Gregory Sedin for the opener. And the match was put beyond the visitors in the 68th minute when Frédéric Piquillon scored the second. Surprise package Nancy are keeping pace with the big guns, but struggling Nantes proved stiff opposition. Only a great stop from Oliver Sorin, denying Denis Oliek. The home side went on to win it with a cracking strike from Michael Cretin. The top match of round 10 saw the top two face off at the Velodrome. Any hopes of a home victory faded fast when Juninho fizzed a trademark free kick into the bottom corner. Lyon took control of the contest in the 48th minute with a second goal beautifully struck by Karim Benzema. Marseille kept plugging away and their persistence paid off 20 minutes from time when Habib Bamogo finished off a flowing crossfield move to score, and a grandstand finish looked on the cards. But their hopes of getting anything from the champions were dashed when Juninho made it 3-1 just 8 minutes later. And the visitors wrapped up an impressive away triumph with a fourth goal after keeper Cedric Carasso palmed Benzema's cross into the path of Kim Källström, and the Swede made no mistake. Elsewhere in League One, Lens were denied victory by an injury-time equaliser at Sedan, and Bordeaux suffered another setback on their trebles, this time against Sochaux. Lyon have taken an 8-point lead at the top and already look like running away with the championship, but at least the battle for second place could be interesting. Nantes' latest defeat means they drop to the foot of the table, but it's Monaco's position that's the biggest surprise, 19th and in disarray. In Argentina, Estudiantes kept up the pressure in the Apertura title race with a goal blitz at home to Gimnasia La Plata. Juan Varón supplying the first, headed home by Diego Galvan. The second arrived after Fernando Ortez's long ball caused chaos in the visitors' defence, and Jose Luis Calderon stole in to score. The hosts were rampant now, and former Manchester United man Varón teed up Mariano Pavoni to smash in the third. The one-way traffic continued in the second half, with Jose Sosa allowed to race up unchallenged down the right flank and cross for Galvan to make it 4-0 with a tidy finish. Gimnasia's frustration boiled over. They lost German Basualdo and Matias Oscoba to red cards before losing a fifth goal as well. Varón started the move, and Pavone put the chance on a plate for Calderon, who couldn't miss. It was 6-0 with 10 minutes remaining. Fantastic flowing football from the home side ended in Pablo Lugercio prodding home after Olave had failed to hold Angeleri's shot. The Crown and Glory saw Calderon completing his hat-trick. Once again, Juan Varón played a pivotal part with a through ball for Calderon to make it 7. River Plate capitalised on their derby victory over Boca last time out with another 3 points at Banfield. Gonzalo Higuain got the only goal just a minute after the break. Great finish from Higuain, whose form in front of goal could be crucial come the run-in. Boca are just about keeping the rest at bay. Rodrigo Palacio crossing for Guillermo Barros Charlotto to give them the lead against Newell's Old Boys. The home side needed a response after defeat in the Clásico. They were 2 up when Villar made a hash of Daniel Diaz's free kick. The Newell keeper may want to look away now. Boca wrapped up victory on the counter-attack. Claudio Rodriguez and Nicolas Bertola played an unorthodox 1-2 before Bertola picked his spot. The visitors gained some consolation in the closing stages as Sebastian Arrieta set up Oscar Cardoza to make it 3-1, but it was far too little too late. A hat-trick including 2 goals in injury time from Ismael Sosa gave Independiente a dramatic win over Nueva, and Colon aided their survival hopes with 3 points against Argentinos Juniors. Boca Juniors stayed top, but their lead remains just a point over city rivals River Plate. Estudiantes and Racing Club also look like staying in the Apertura hunt. Quilmes already look doomed at the bottom after another winless streak. Colon have picked up, but Gimnasia La Plata are on the slide. They're down to 15th. In the Italian Serie A, Atalanta produced a stirring comeback to defeat Sampdoria. The visitors went ahead in spectacular style with this 30-yard perler from Fabio Quagliarella. The Blucacciati double their lead with another exquisite finish from Quagliarella, whose perfectly judged chip gave Alex Calderoni no chance. But Atalanta were thrown a lifeline before half-time when Luigi Sala pulled down Riccardo Zampagna in the box. A penalty, the obvious outcome. Cristiano Doni made it 1-2 from the spot. The hosts threw everything forward, but were made to wait until the 85th minute for their reward. It came via the penalty spot after Mirko Pieri was penalised for the challenge on Nicola Ventola. Up stepped Doni to coolly double his tally and level the scores. Then, with stoppage time approaching, Zampagna won the match with a beautiful lob over the stranded Luca Castellazzi. And for the second week in a row, Atalanta had come out at the right end of a 3-2 scoreline. In a battle between two of the summer's disgraced sides, Fiorentina gave their survival hopes a boost with victory over fellow strugglers. Regina Adriana Mutu opened the scoring with a stunning long-range strike. The visitors unlucky not to be level soon after. The referee's assistant adjudged Nicola Amoruso offside. And the Viola made the most of their escape by doubling the lead in the 43rd minute. Mario Santana applying the finish to Manuel Pascal's cross. And Fiorentina wrapped up the points 10 minutes into the second period when Manuel Blasi blasted home. Roma continued to stumble in their chase for the championship, denied an early goal when Francesco Totti was flagged offside. Chievo were under severe pressure, and having failed to clear a corner, Alberto Aquilani's teasing cross found Matteo Ferrari, but his goal-bound header was cleared off the line. And Roma paid for those misses when a defensive aberration between Alexander Doni and Cristiano Chivo gifted Sergio Pellissier the simplest of goals. The home side put that error behind them after the interval, and they equalised when Totti this time evaded the offside trap and cheekily lifted the leveller over Vincenzo Cicinano. The Giallorossi came agonisingly close to winning goal late on. First, Matko Vucinic saw his shot saved, then Daniel De Rossi hit a post. And when Christian Panucci finally found the net, the linesman's flag denied them again. AC Milan's miserable run continued as they were humbled 2-0 in their own backyard by Palermo, while city neighbours Inter were held to a goalless draw at Udinese. Palermo's victory in the San Siro takes them top as both Inter and Roma drop points. Atalanta's dramatic triumph over Sampdoria moves them up to 5th. Fiorentina's win over Regina means they swap places at the bottom, though both are still on minus points. Lazio's defeat at Catania keeps them in the drop zone.
For the final time this week, let's catch up with the tipster. His last port of call is the Italian Serie A.
So it's time to put your money where your mouth is in Italy, and there's no doubt where the biggest match of the weekend is. It's the Milan derby as AC take on Inter at the San Siro. Carlo Ancelotti's side are suffering at the wrong end of the table right now and feeling the effects of their 8-point deduction at the start of the campaign. They desperately need a win to reinvigorate their season, so their need may prove greater at 6-4. Inter, on the other hand, have taken advantage of their neighbours' fall from grace and are currently well placed to reclaim the Scudetto. They're playing with confidence and scoring goals, so look decent value at 19-10.
In the Portuguese Superliga, Benfica started brightly against Amadora, and Paulo Lopes had to be at his best to deny Konstantinos Katsouranis. But the visitors then silenced the Stadium of Lights when Dario headed home Edo Silva's corner. The hosts kept the pressure on, though. They got their reward when Katsouranis squared for Italian striker Fabrizio Macaulay to turn in the equaliser. In the second half, Benfica were given the chance to take the lead when Nelson's burst into the box was abruptly ended. And in typically clinical fashion, Simão dispatched the penalty. The visitors were wilting by now and should have fallen further behind, but substitute Andrei Kayaka miscued with a goal at his mercy. Frustration of that miss had obviously been too much for Macaulay, and the fiery frontman was sent off in the closing stages after lashing out at Rui Duarte. The points were saved minutes later. Simão and Petit combined to set up Kayaka to head the decisive third. A seesaw encounter between Maritimo and Beramar saw both sides go close in the opening exchanges. Collins Bissouma was denied for the hosts, while the visitors had George Leto's effort cleared off the line. But Maritimo finally found the way to goal in the second half. It was former Portsmouth misfit Bissouma who showed he still knows where the net is. The Zambian failed to score during his time in the Premiership, but he also had a hand in Maritimo's second, supplying the layoff for Sir Gomez to make it 2-0. Beramar were well beaten, but they still had time for Wengo to score a late consolation. Boa Vista's stay-away fans didn't miss much as Nacional put their lackluster team to the sword. Rodrigo Silva scored an acrobatic opener. Rodrigo was involved again soon after, this time turning provider for Jose Victor to head home number 2. The home side were given a great chance to get back into this match before the break, as Bruno Patakis, trailing on, was penalised, but Roland Lynch squandered the chance from the spot, allowing Diego to make the save. And they paid the price for that miss. After the interval, Nacional stretching their lead. Rodrigo and Victor combining to set up Patakis, who more than made amends for that earlier handball. The final insult arrived in the 69th minute, as Giuliano Spadaccio's cross was turned into his own net by Khalifa Cisse to complete a disastrous evening. The biggest match of round 7 saw last season's top 2 clash as Lisbon rivals Sporting met FC Porto at the Avalade.
Custodio just chips it up towards the back post, and Carlos Paredes with the looping header. Helton just got fingertips to it to deny Paredes. Goalissimo again starts to open up the legs down the right, and that shot just skimming wide. Holger does well, just turns Pepe. The cross got a bit of a deflection on. Helton's made a mess of it, and Lee Edson's shot was blocked on the line by Bruno Alves. Back to Nani. Can he deliver a decent cross? He can for Yannick! Sporting have got the vital breakthrough, and it's Yannick Diallo who scores with perfect delivery and the perfect header. Alves tried the overhead. It's kept alive again by Alves. Postiga put Ricardo under pressure, and it's Ricardo Quaresma who has equalised. The former Sporting player silences the Avalade. Great ball in from Carlos Martins, and Paredes hits the post. Will they get a better chance to win it? You doubt it.
Elsewhere in Portugal, Académica claimed a much-needed victory over struggling Aves, and Belenenses moved into mid-table with a 2-0 win over Pacos Ferreira. Porto's draw with Sporting keeps them level at the top, while after an inconsistent start, Benfica are up to 5th. They're just 3 points behind the leaders. Amadora stay bottom and look destined for the drop even at this stage of the campaign. Aves and Beira-Mar will also need to find form quickly. That's it for this week, but we leave you with our Goalissimo gaff of the week. It comes from Germany as Hamburg's Boubacar Sanogo misses when it looked easier to score. From the ridiculous to the sublime, our goal of the week is from France, and this screamer from Toulouse's Brian Bourgogne. Join us again next time for more of the same on Goalissimo.
Next on 4, prepare to have your breath taken away in adrenaline rush.